The Mystery of Melchizedek, King and Priest Without Genealogy. Part 1. The Hook and Promise. Seekers of ancient truths, and welcome back to Bible by Candlelight. Tonight, as the flickering flame casts long shadows upon these venerable texts, we are drawn into one of Scripture's most profound and perplexing enigmas. Imagine encountering a figure who emerges from the mists of antiquity, a king and a priest, yet a man with no recorded lineage, no beginning or end to his days. Who was this enigmatic individual, this Melchizedek, whose brief appearance in the Genesis narrative has puzzled theologians and captivated mystics for millennia? He stands as a solitary sentinel in the sacred story, a paradox wrapped in divine purpose. Tonight, we embark on a journey to unravel the mystery of Melchizedek, to peel back the layers of time and tradition, and to discover the profound theological implications of this king-priest of righteousness. What secrets does his silent presence whisper about the nature of priesthood, kingship, and even the Messiah himself? Prepare to delve into the depths of a scriptural puzzle, whose pieces, once assembled, reveal a breathtaking vista of divine design. Part 2. The Journey of Deep Discovery. The historical and cultural tapestry of Genesis. To truly appreciate the startling appearance of Melchizedek, we must first immerse ourselves in the rugged, nascent world of Genesis 14. Abraham, still known as Abram, has just returned triumphant from a daring rescue mission, liberating his nephew Lot and the captured inhabitants of Sodom from the clutches of a coalition of kings. It is a moment of victory, of spoils, and of a nascent people finding their footing in a land fraught with tribal conflicts and shifting allegiances. This is a time before the Mosaic law, before the elaborate rituals of the Levitical priesthood, and indeed, before the formal establishment of any centralized religious system for Abram's descendants. The worship of El Elyon, God Most High, was likely diffused among various tribal groups and communities, often intertwined with local deities or ancestral veneration. It is into this ancient Near Eastern landscape, where kings often held priestly functions within their own city-states, that Melchizedek strides forth. He is not presented as a pagan priest, nor as an idolater, but as a servant of the very same God whom Abram worships. His title, King of Salem, which literally means King of Peace, and his subsequent offering of bread and wine, distinguish him as a figure of unique significance, stepping onto the stage of history at a pivotal moment for the patriarch of faith. Decoding the Scripture, Genesis, Psalms, and Hebrews. Our primary encounters with Melchizedek are strikingly brief, yet immensely impactful. The first, and foundational, is found in Genesis 14:18-20. Then Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High, and he blessed Abram, saying, "Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth. And praise be to God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hand." Then Abram gave him a tenth of everything. Here, the narrative is sparse, almost laconic, yet every detail is pregnant with meaning. He is identified as a priest of God Most High, El Elyon, a title that resonates with Abram's own confession in the following verses. His act of bringing bread and wine is not a mere meal, but a priestly offering, prefiguring later covenant meals. Abram's tithe to Melchizedek is crucial. It acknowledges Melchizedek's superior priestly authority, even over the patriarch himself. Centuries later, Melchizedek reappears in the prophetic strains of Psalm 110:4. The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest forever, in the order of Melchizedek. This is a messianic psalm, universally understood by Jewish and Christian traditions, to speak of the coming King Messiah. The divine oath elevates Melchizedek's priesthood from a historical footnote to an eternal prototype, a standard against which the ultimate high priest would be measured. This single verse elevates Melchizedek from a fleeting historical figure to a profound theological type, pointing directly to the Christ. However, it is in the Epistle to the Hebrews, particularly chapters 5, 6, and 7, that the full theological weight of Melchizedek is unveiled. The author of Hebrews, meticulously arguing for the superiority of Christ's priesthood over the Levitical order, devotes considerable attention to Melchizedek. Hebrews 7:1-3 states, "For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him. And to him Abraham apportioned a tenth part of everything. He is first, by translation of his name, King of Righteousness, and then he is also King of Salem, that is, King of Peace. Without father or mother, without genealogy, without beginning of days or end of life, but resembling the Son of God, he remains a priest forever." The author emphasizes his dual kingship, righteousness and peace, but most strikingly, his lack of recorded genealogy. This isn't necessarily a literal assertion that Melchizedek had no parents or birth date, but rather a theological declaration. In a culture where lineage defined priestly validity, Levites, and royal succession, Melchizedek's unrecorded parentage and timeless presence underscore his unique, divinely ordained status. He is resembling the Son of God, not merely a type, but a prefigurement so perfect that he embodies certain eternal attributes of Christ himself. The hidden theological meaning: a superior priesthood, a messianic shadow. The theological implications of Melchizedek are vast and profound. Firstly, he represents a priesthood independent of and superior to the Levitical system established through Moses. The Levitical priesthood was bound by lineage, by ritual, and by its temporal nature. Priests died and needed successors. Melchizedek's priesthood, by contrast, is eternal, not dependent on human descent, and foreshadows a new covenant. Abram's tithe to Melchizedek signifies that even the patriarch, from whom the Levitical priests would descend, acknowledged a greater authority. This is a foundational argument in Hebrews for the obsolescence of the Old Covenant and the inauguration of the New. Secondly, Melchizedek embodies the perfect union of kingship and priesthood, a combination that was strictly forbidden within Israel under the Mosaic Law. For example, King Uzziah's judgment for offering incense. He is King of Righteousness and King of Peace. This dual role points directly to the Messiah, Jesus Christ, who is both the King of Kings and our eternal High Priest, interceding for us at the right hand of God. Jesus' priesthood is in the order of Melchizedek, signifying its eternal, superior, and divinely appointed nature, unbound by the limitations of the Mosaic Law. It is a priesthood not of human arrangement, but of divine oath. Finally, Melchizedek's mysterious origin and eternal quality, without father or mother, without beginning of days or end of life, speak to the pre-existence and eternal nature of Christ himself. While Melchizedek was a historical person, his presentation in Scripture transcends typical historical biography to serve as a living, breathing analogy for the divine Son. He is a glimpse, a foreshadowing, of the one who would truly be priest forever, not by human appointment, but by the power of an indestructible life. He is a testament to God's broader plan for salvation, not confined to one nation or one covenant, but reaching across time and humanity. Controversies and theories. Unveiling the interpretations. The enigma of Melchizedek has naturally given rise to a rich tapestry of interpretations throughout history. One prominent ancient theory, particularly among some early church fathers and Jewish mystics, suggested that Melchizedek was actually a pre-incarnate appearance of Jesus Christ, a Christophany. This view is fueled by the description in Hebrews 7:3, resembling the Son of God and his seemingly ageless nature. Proponents argue that only Christ himself could truly be without father or mother in the ultimate sense and hold such inherent priestly authority. Another perspective identifies Melchizedek with Shem, the son of Noah, who would have been alive at the time of Abraham and the most senior patriarch. This theory attempts to provide a genealogical explanation for Melchizedek, despite the explicit lack of one in Scripture. While plausible chronologically, it tends to diminish the theological impact of his without genealogy status, which the author of Hebrews so carefully emphasizes. A more widely accepted scholarly view is that Melchizedek was indeed a historical king-priest of Salem, likely the precursor to Jerusalem, a righteous Gentile who worshipped El Elyon. His unique presentation in Scripture is then understood as a divinely inspired literary device to highlight his typological significance. The silence of Genesis concerning his origins is not an oversight, but a deliberate theological choice to underscore his resemblance to the eternal Son of God, who also has no human father in the divine sense, and no beginning or end. This perspective allows Melchizedek to remain a distinct individual, while still serving as a powerful foreshadowing of Christ's superior and eternal priesthood. The controversies themselves underscore the profound impact of this figure, challenging readers to look beyond the surface and grapple with the deeper, eternal truths he embodies. Part 3. The Eternal Echoes. We have journeyed through the ancient sands of Canaan, through prophetic psalms, and into the profound theological arguments of Hebrews. We have seen Melchizedek emerge not merely as a historical footnote, but as a divinely appointed foreshadowing, a living parable. His story, though brief, speaks volumes about God's eternal plan, about a priesthood that transcends human limitations, and a kingship rooted in righteousness and peace. He is the pre-Mosaic high priest, the one to whom Abraham bowed, and the one whose order became the pattern for the ultimate high priest, Jesus Christ. So, as the candlelight softly illuminates these sacred pages, let us not merely close the book on an ancient mystery, but rather open our minds to its enduring echo. The mystery of Melchizedek invites us to ponder the very nature of eternity, of divine appointment, and of the unfolding revelation of God's character. How does this enigmatic figure challenge our preconceptions of religious authority and divine election? And what does his timeless presence reveal about the grand tapestry of redemption, meticulously woven by the hand of God long before the foundations of the world were laid? Let the enduring mystery of Melchizedek prompt us to look beyond the immediate, to seek the eternal in the temporal, and to marvel at the intricate, awe-inspiring beauty of God's unfolding story for humanity. The mystery of Melchizedek, king and priest without